Hey, I'm Kai, and today I just want to shoot out some real pedals against the Line 6 HX1 and see how close I can get them to sound. I've got a bit of a mixed bag of pedals here. I've got some classics, I've got some modern staples, and I've even got a boutique offering. For the parameters for this video, I'm running everything through the Fractal FM3, and rather than try and dial both the pedal and the Line 6 HX1 to sound like each other, what I'm going to do instead is dial in my favourite tone on the pedal and then just try to match that with the HX1. We'll start with the Earthquaker Devices Plumes, and we're quite lucky because this has a 1-for-1 model in the Line 6 helixes. Not every pedal has a direct counterpart like this, but in the HX1 the Plumes is called pillars. Normally the way I would use the Plumes is to take a Marshall broken up sort of cleanish sound up to a full crunch. Let's hear the raw sound of the amp first. This is the JCM 800 model in the FM3. It's got a little bit of grit about it already, but we can really kick this one up with the Plumes. Let's try and dial in the HX1 to match this. I'd say that one matches pretty closely really. There's a little bit of difference to it, but for the purposes of this quickfire kind of video, I think we've nailed it. Now, the Electro-Harmonix Big Muff is probably the one that I would most like to replicate with the Line 6 HX1 because it's such a massive pedal that it'd be great to just be able to take it off my board. The difficulty with this is that there are so many different Big Muff variations in the Line 6 HX1, and yet none of them perfectly match the version that I've got here. Mine is the Frantone reissue from about the year 2000 or so. In the HX1 we have the Triangle, which is based on the original classic Big Muff, we have the Ram's Head Big Muff, and we also have the Black Russian Big Muff. There's also the Fuzz Pie from the Legacy drives in this, which is from the Line 6 M series. I don't think we're going to need that one, and the modern Helix models are a lot more accurate. I think the closest one in the HX1 to my Big Muff is going to be the Bighorn based on the Ram's Head. We'll hear my one first running through the Hiwatt DR103 model in the Fractal. I'll also show the clean tone. I'll engage the Big Muff about halfway through. You can probably hear why I just absolutely love that tone. It is the Big Muff sound that I've had in my head. I've not been able to replicate it with any other Big Muff that I've tried. It's just fantastic. Let's hear the Bighorn fuzz and see if we can dial it in similarly. I'd say that that's actually pretty close. I think my actual Big Muff has a little bit more top end to it, but ultimately is much of a muchness really. The next pedal that I want to do is the ProCo RAT2. This one has a couple of versions in the HX1. The original was the Vermin Dist, which was actually a broken model of the Rat, which they then updated to be the Ratatouille instead with the fixed model. I think both of these are going to be based on the original Rat circuit, while mine is the more modern reissue with a different chip, so they may sound a little bit different just in the raw models themselves. My favourite way to set up the Rat pedal is as a super crunchy drive tone. It doesn't sound anything like amp drive, but it's a really nice, almost fuzzy kind of thing all by itself. We'll switch over and hear the Ratatouille Dist in the HX1. I'm finding that that one doesn't sound quite right to this, so what I'm actually going to try instead is the Vital Dist. This is actually based on the Earthquaker Devices Life pedal, which in itself has a Rat circuit in it. One thing we do have to do with this model is turn off the octave feature. I'd say that that's not as close as the other ones that we've tried. I felt like the Vital Dist has just got a little bit more of that like one-piece sort of low-end sound to it, while the actual Rat pedal was a lot more crunchy. It wasn't miles away though, and for all intents and purposes, you could probably get away with it if you needed to. I did want to also chuck in a couple of non-drive pedals into this video so that we could have a little bit more variety, and one pedal that I was particularly interested in trying to replicate is the Electro-Harmonix Small Clone. This is a grungy sounding chorus pedal that works great with drive pedals that I do really like the sound of, however I don't use it often enough to warrant putting it on my board full time. Now since there's no direct small clone in the Line 6 HX1, we are going to have to think outside the box a little bit, so I'm going to start out by trying the Boss CE1 model, the 70s chorus. I'll also switch back to the JTM 800 for this so that we can get a little bit of drive. Let's hear the small clone first as our control. Now we'll hear the 70s chorus and see if we can dial it in at all close. 70s chorus definitely isn't anywhere near close to this, so we'll try out the Ampeg liquefier instead. Still don't think it's quite there, but let's hear an A-B comparison between them and just see where we're at. The small clone kind of sounds like it's more chorusy, more gritty, whereas the Ampeg liquefier sounds a little bit too pretty. I don't know about this one. I tried a bunch of different choruses off camera trying to find one that worked, and the Ampeg liquefier was the absolute best of the lot, and even that's not super close. Maybe Line 6 just need to add a small clone model into the HX1. One overdrive pedal that I absolutely love and would love to match on the HX1 is the Holy Island Audio Spectral Fire. Now, I think this one is going to be the hardest of the lot. I've yet to find any overdrive that sounds just like the Spectral Fire. It's a Trainer TS50 blended with a blues breaker. It's super clanky, it has a 3-band EQ, it's got 2 different gain settings. It's got a lot going on. Typically, I will use the Spectral Fire as a sort of low gain boost thing to pair with other drive pedals, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to run it on a little bit higher gain so that we can really hear what it's doing. As for models in the Line 6 HX1, this took me a little bit to think of really. I think the best option is going to be our Heir Apparent. This is based on the Prince of Tone, which is based on the King of Tone, which is based on the Blues Breaker. Now let's see if I can get anywhere close to that with the Heir Apparent. I can kind of see where this one's going. The Heir Apparent is a much more normal sounding drive pedal, while the Spectral Fire has a lot of that clanky weirdness to it. It's actually the reason why I love it. I think a lot of people will prefer the tones that I got out of the Heir Apparent versus the Spectral Fire, but I think that this isn't one I'm going to be able to match too easily. The last pedal that I have in this video is actually a reverb pedal. I want to compare the Universal Audio Heavenly Plate to the Line 6 HX1. I've shifted around my preset in the Fractal FM3 so that I'm running the amp before the reverb pedals. Line 6 often get an awful lot of praise for their reverb algorithms, so I figured this would be a great opportunity to shoot it out against my mainstay on my pedal board. While the HX1 doesn't actually have a modulated plate reverb, it does have the dynamic plate. I think rather than trying to fully match these, I'm going to dial them in for a similar decay and mix and let you hear the differences between them. think I'm really preferring the Line 6 HX1 for these reverb sounds. This dynamic plate isn't one that I've messed with before, and I'm really loving how it sounds. That is every matchup that I have for this video though, so please drop a comment down below letting me know what you thought of them. Did you prefer the Line 6 HX1 for any of these? Did it match them well, or are analog pedals really the supreme? Personally, I think it was pretty serviceable across the board. Getting the Big Muffs to sound even close between the Line 6 HX1 and my holy grail Big Muff is a major achievement. I couldn't quite get the same palm mute weight to it, but that kind of thing is such a minor detail when you consider just how much space is saved when you ditch this thing. The reverb algorithms in the Line 6 HX1 do seem to be a little bit better than the one in the Heavenly Plate. For lack of a better word, they're more dynamic. The UA effects will be staying on my pedal board though, because I often use it in conjunction with the Line 6 HX1. For instance, if the HX1 is doing some modulation, I like to have a little bit of reverb at the end of my chain. I struggled quite a lot to match the Spectral Fire. I think that was probably the hardest one of the bunch, just because it's such a unique sounding drive pedal, and there's nothing like it in the HX1. I reckon it would be possible to match this one if I had the HX Stomp instead of the HX1, because it gives you access to more blocks, so I could add a drive block, maybe a secondary boost block, as well as an EQ block, just to completely shape it. I also want to see Line 6 add the small clone into a future update. I'm really feeling like I'm missing this one now that I've done the A/B test. The HX1 has been a mainstay on my pedalboard ever since I got it, and it just continues to deliver. I would love to do some more of these A/B comparisons in the future though, so let me know if there's any pedals that you would like to see shot out against the HX1 like this. Also, if you wanted to see more deep divey kind of stuff like trying to find the absolute perfect Big Muff settings, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit of a difficult setup today, but it was an awful lot of fun to make, and it really taught me a lot about the HX1. Also, if you own the HX1, I will drop a link to all of the presets that I've created from these matches in this video in the description box down below. While you're there, if you could also check out my Tom and affiliate link, that would be great too. I will add affiliate links to all of the pedals that I used in this demo, bar the Spectral Fire, because that's only available from Holy Island Audio's website. That's all for this one though, so thank you ever so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Kai.